Today in the crypto space, we see the market kind of going sideways. Bitcoin at about $43,000 and Ethereum still right around that $2,300 mark. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, are waiting for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Are we finally going to get a bounce, or are we going to be coming down to those lower levels? These altcoins right now are somewhat green, somewhat red. Chainlink looking pretty good, and a few others coming down to those lower levels. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin that's looking pretty good, a nice retracement at horizontal support, and that project is called Dynex. So you know what, let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. And of course, guys, join that Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. Obviously, Bitcoin kind of going sideways, still not doing anything. It's still within range. Big picture, it does look like it wants to roll over eventually, but we're going to have to be very, very patient here to see that potentially happen here for Bitcoin. If it does roll over, guys, we're expecting lower levels, but in the meantime, we're seeing Ethereum in a little bit of a different stance as we can see it right now. Bitcoin right now does look like it has a lot of hang time. It does look like it may want to roll over here. Nice rounded top. You can see its complex pattern right now is giving us a nice rounded top here. Whereas Ethereum is kind of different. It doesn't really look so rounded. In fact, these double bottoms right here, the way they look, it looks like it may be looking for another impulsive move to the upside. But of course, I'm not going to be front running this idea. We're going to be very patient here on Ethereum because, of course, Ethereum usually does follow Bitcoin, especially if Bitcoin does fall, unless we start getting into an altcoin season, right? And that, of course, Ethereum should show us the way as the first mover. Ethereum should give us that signal. So we're going to have to be very patient here with ETH, and if you continue going down the market, some of these altcoins are rolling over as well and potentially looking for a bit of relief to the upside. We have Solana looking for a little bit of a bounce after a bit of a retracement to the upside. We could expect that. BNB doing the same thing, and if you scroll through the market, you can see that generally speaking, there's a mix of red and green. There's not much consensus here throughout the market. AVAX coming down 4%, and if you keep on coming down, you have Chainlink, a big deal when it comes to the Oracle space and the Oracle narrative. Now wondering how Pyth is doing, but ultimately, Chainlink showing some strength here might give us that indication that maybe even Ethereum could be waking up based on the main oracle in the space, right? So this is a potential good indication of that good things could be happening very soon. Matic doing pretty good as well, 1.5% at least. The structure is looking nice. Double bottom, slightly lower low, but still okay. So we got to give it, a bit of wiggle room there to do its thing. And you could see that some altcoins right now are looking for that bounce. Even Litecoin's looking for a little bit of a bounce. We have, what else do we have here? Maybe Uniswap getting a bit of a bounce soon. We'll see. It looks like it's trying to hit a bottom here. So we're going to be patient for that one. Ethereum Classic getting a bit of relief to the upside. And as we continue going down, you can see that there's a bit of mix. It's not too clear. Either we're going to get a rejection, come down more, or we're finally getting a bit of relief to the upside. This is the thing here, guys. If you don't feel like you have conviction, there's no real need to get into a position on any of these tokens. So what we really have to do is build a thesis that is strong, a thesis that, considers risk, and of course the reward, and your invalidation of that thesis is so important. So this is why I'm looking for particular setups that have clear charts that are giving me clear setups, clear longs, even shorts, Whatever the case is, I'm looking for clarity. There's no room for ambiguity in the current state that we are here in this market. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be focusing on in the next little while. Caspa coming down to those lower levels, but maybe looking for a bit of relief to the upside. And you can see Mantle grinding to the downside, but Render still looking strong here, up 6% today, guys. So that's really bullish. That's really healthy. You have Say coming down again, another 4% to the downside. And we have, what else? The graph GRT kind of dipping down, but maybe looking for support. Still a lot of sideways confusion. Mina Protocol looking okay, 22%, 23% in the last 7 days. So that's very, very healthy. Phantom coming down. A lot of these altcoins currently, like I said, especially the larger caps, they're very confused. Layer 1 altcoins, the base layer or the ecosystem coins projects, they're definitely right now very confused. I'm looking at some of those small projects that are built on these ecosystem projects, and basically those ones are showing a bit more strength. They're showing a lot more volatility, of course, and we're interested in that. But what's going on with Algo, Phantom, for example? We need a little bit more there. Jupiter's coming down, still grinding to the downside. Nothing crazy there. I'm not interested right now at the current moment. Be patient here. BitGet token getting a nice bounce to the upside. That's a good sign of strength for the market. When we see centralized exchange tokens wake up that way, that gives me an indication that the market's ready to start playing, right? And for me, that's important. CFX down 10% today, grinding to the downside. Not the greatest look, but that's the name of the game. And generally speaking, guys, you can see the market is just a mix of red and green. Nothing really too confident to get into today, but there is a chart that I want to look at. And of course, before we do look at DNX, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. Guys, let's begin. Let's begin looking at Bitcoin. Let's begin our research here, looking at what's going on here with this Bitcoin price. Honestly, Bitcoin at the current moment is in one of those states. It's one of those states where it's like, okay, give me a signal. And so far, it's trying its best to show us that either we're going to get to the upside and break this, horizontal resistance and get to higher levels, or we're going to get that confirmation high, that lower high, and eventually make a lower low so that we have a lower high and a lower low, and the trend is our friend, and then we start coming down. And unfortunately, in that case, we're going to have to be prepared with some good buy opportunities down here at these lower levels and starting to get offensive. Basically, to DCA out these lower levels on red days is, obviously it's difficult, but it's a blessing in disguise, of course, because right before the bull run comes or the halving comes, we will be given an opportunity to buy the dip. So let's take a look at this in a bit of detail like we do every single day. The daily chart right now is still hesitating, still right around this level. So if you look at the RSI, still like we have had a peak before and a peak before, we have a peak right now. And it just means that it's likely to maybe come down for a bottom, the way we had bottoms before and bottoms before. Do we come down and finally get a bottom down here? And it's very possible. Okay, so what we got to do is be patient. I know this relief to the upside was blessed. A lot of the altcoins did well. On the 4 hour, we got from this level all the way up to here, and we got a rejection, double top type of thing, and now we're coming down again. Both the 4 hour and the dailies in confluence, momentum-wise, looking to get oversold. So don't be rushing into anything crazy here, because ultimately, if we see the 4 hour get its way, it's likely to come down. Now the MACD is looking a little interesting right now. We could be getting a nice EMA cross right here. We could be closing off these histogram bars and maybe getting another impulsive move to the upside. It's all very possible. This is pretty much 50-50 for me. Nothing really concrete. So I'm going to take that very lightly at the current moment. But what I am still keeping an eye on is here. What is going to be happening at about 44,370? Do we get that rejection and start coming down and seeing the altcoins follow? Or are we, basically going to continue to the upside? Personally speaking, if you look at this legacy trend line that we got going on here, I'll go back into the daily and we look at all this, these tops, this top right here, and we go with what we're dealing with at the current moment. Basically, it wouldn't be surprising to me if we finally rolled over here. Come down to about 34, 33, 32. We'll have to wait for that momentum to get oversold, and then we'll see where we get. But ultimately, that would be so fine. That would be totally fine to see that happen. And of course, we'll be buying altcoins in that case. Okay, so make sure you get that bell on so that you can, basically stay up to date with some of the calls that I'm making. I'm looking at some good entries on some good altcoins. My watch list is being updated as we speak because I need to make sure that I have a list of projects that I'm interested in to be buying into when we get these opportunities. You don't have time to think. You just want to be able to deploy and push the, start spamming those buy orders at lower levels. That's all it is. All right, guys, let's look at DNX. Today's video is about DNX. We can talk about Bitcoin tonight. We can talk about Ethereum. We can take a look at the Bitcoin dominance and all that good stuff tonight at 7:30 Eastern. But for now, let's look at Dynex. Dynex looking okay. DNX. Obviously here, guys, this is the risk to reward ratio play. And this is what I always talk about. And I've mentioned it here today as well. If I'm going to be getting into an altcoin, it's going to be based off of risk to reward. And charts have to be clear. And this is one of them. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on. The last couple of videos that I've covered basically were on charts that were super, super clear. Which ones did we do last? Let's see here. Talked about JoyStream. JoyStream was a bit ambiguous because of the FUD, guys. Go check it out. Make sure you understand that JoyStream is still in a good state. We talked about Prime, Microvision Chain, all in great opportunities of clarity. That's what I'm looking for. But then all of a sudden, we start looking at DNX, and we see that we have a volume gap below. This volume gap is an opportunity in both negative and positive, in the sense that if we do break below, we can come down straight to about 40 cents. If we come down to 40 cents, great buy opportunity for sure. But you can see how the market respected this horizontal support at the top of the volume gap many times. We fell through it, very low volume move, fine, went right back up, back tested, continued to the upside, red box. This was a de-risking opportunity. Take profit, dipped, went back up, went to the range highs. Okay, great. Quick sell-off and straight back down to range lows. This is where we're at. So you can see how the price action, in fact, is respecting the range. Although we have 1.27 extensions, we have 1.618 extensions, definitely right up there waiting. But look at this massive accumulation range right here. Massive. This is where all the market participation is. Everybody's accumulating right here. Everybody's preparing for a big move to the upside so we can see the price, in fact, start getting to those higher levels. And we'll zoom out here in a second because there's no price discovery. There's price discovery after this. There's nothing else. If you kind of see what I'm talking about, we start getting into price discovery real quick, and then it's too late to actually build a big position because you don't know where you're going to get rejected and start coming down for a dip. Right now, you know you're at the bottoms. The risk to reward is super healthy. So what could you do? You could basically ask yourself, if I get in at this current moment, where do I put my stop loss? Well, your stop loss could be put on the previous lows and you're done, which is, good that we're very close to it. Look how close we are. We're at the bottom. You're doing pretty good here. Bullish divergence. Let's see. Let's zoom in. This is the daily, by the way, guys. This is the daily, looking pretty good. Lower lows on the price action. Include or exclude the wicks. It doesn't matter in this case. You're going to get the same effect. And you can see the momentum shifting to the upside as we see the price come down. Class A bullish divergence at horizontal support. This is what I look for. Now, if we came down, of course, down to the bottom of the volume gap, you can see the empty space right here. Guys, this is also a great opportunity, right? So we have to understand that. The MACD right now here on the daily looking great. EMA is facing up, green histogram bars to the upside, looking to get into the bullish control zone, even for another move like these ones, means that from a range perspective, we can go all the way back up to range highs again, which is at about $1, $1.20, something like that, which is really, really good. And if you're looking at where we are right now, you're looking at a decent move. From here to about here, more or less, you're looking at about 80%, which is a decent move. And at this point, DCAing here at this back test that we've gotten and this extra level of confidence that we're building here based on this horizontal support. We have the point of control, again, the top of the volume gap, pretty good, and the retracement is decent. All of these good confluent measures right now are suggesting that if you get in at this current moment, it's not bad. You're not taking too much risk. Okay, so let's keep this in mind. Now let's go into the 4 hour here for a second. You can see that the 4 hour might be giving us a better entry, possibly. But the way things are looking, it looks like it might want to get overbought. And if it gets overbought, it's likely to start breaking out. Okay, and the price and the momentum and the price could get into overbought conditions, and it could stay up here for a little bit while the price, gets back to range highs. And, it doesn't really matter because ultimately, if we start now, you can see that we're pretty much at the bottom. Look at the last time this happened, right? At the bottom, more or less. and then all of a sudden the majority of the move is all up in here, right? If you look at all the price from here to here, it's pretty much this tip of this momentum. So the majority of the move is still locked in into this price right here, and it could definitely see the price should jump to at least $1 very, very quickly. Okay, so this is what you got to understand: risk to reward ratio. And then if we see the MACD at this current moment is also moving to the upside very clearly. There's no ambiguity here. Look at this. Very clearly, if you follow the EMAs, you know, the waves of these EMAs are slowly going up into the bullish control side, a zone of things, and you can see, look at this, nice grinding to the upside, and eventually we start getting into this level where we start feeling a bit of confidence, and then we get a huge spike, the same way we did here. Slowly we go up a couple of times, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're up, and then all of a sudden we get confidence, and when the market gets that confidence, that's when we get the bigger volume, the bigger move, because of all the confidence in the confluence on the charts, right? That's what we really want to look for. So looking pretty good. Back to the daily, looking pretty awesome. Did we get completely oversold just yet? Not quite. Do we need to? Maybe. But I'm not willing to bet on it at this current moment. This is a good DCA strategy because you're at a good level. Now, what about if we came down? Guys, I would make sure that I have a good amount of capital to buy the dips at these levels just in case. You can't negate the fact that it's not possible. All right, so that's one of the things that make me a successful trader, is that I always consider the worst case scenarios, because that way I am prepared both emotionally and economically to buy the dips and, you know, basically hold steady on my convictions. And that's the only way you do, is by thinking about them and making sure you understand that anything is possible here, guys. So statistically speaking, the probability is that we do have a chance of coming down here, and I am going to be ready with an action plan, which includes buying the dip and doubling down at these levels, which is at about 40 cents. And my first buy entry is going to be in these zones, maybe even a little bit lower. I'll wait a little bit more and DCA also into this level, which is at about 60 to 65 cents. Both good zones, areas to buy the dip. Green arrow, DCA, guys, it's looking pretty good. Now, obviously, you never know what happens here. If the Bitcoin price does come down and the market then start to look negative, Dynex, DNX is still going to come down as well. And we don't know how low it's going to go. So you got to make sure you have a stop loss somewhere, whether it be underneath these lows or underneath this bottom of the volume gap. We do have a few spikes of volume for some last line in the sand support levels, but really, guys, be careful, because once we start breaking below here, there's not much. There's only a few spikes that could act as support, and we could definitely start coming down to those lower levels. So be very careful here. Risk management is key. Preserve that capital, because without it, you have nothing to play with, nothing to work with, and capital is the tool of the job. That's basically it. All right, guys, thank you for stopping by. If you haven't yet, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. I'm going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern talking about crypto news and price action. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Guys, feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.